Hello YouTube world, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I want to share with you some culture shocks that I had experienced as a first time Berlin visitor. So this is my first time in Germany, and I was in Berlin for a few days, and then I later visited Potsdam. But here are some of the culture shocks that I experienced. Let's get into the video. First culture shock that I experienced, and this is something that I really loved about Berlin, is the parks and the chill culture. It's like you could easily find like some park somewhere at any point, and that was so refreshing to me because where I'm from you could hardly find parks. The second experience that I had which really shocked me was Kit Kat. Like I went to Kit Kat, the club, and I was shocked, like in every part of my body, I was shocked because I think I come from a very conservative culture, and the idea that people can have sex publicly, like openly, people can have sex however they want, whenever they want, with whomever they want, was a major culture shock to me. But honestly, so to say, like I love that idea, like the whole concept of just being like free with your body and like exploring stuff. Like I love the whole concept around it, but was I shocked? Yes. But I feel like I also expected more than what I just saw. So I think I was at Kit Kat maybe on like a low day, like a more of a slow day. So there were things happening, like people having sex on the dance floor, like people kissing everywhere. Like I don't know. I feel like things were happening, but I sort of like expected more than what I saw. But so to say, it was still a culture shock. Even the things that I saw were still like, ah, God. I was trying so hard to not like stare because like every 2 minutes I would come across something that would be like, what? And every time I was trying not to stare because a lot was happening at the same time. It was quite a blast. I think it was quite a blast. Kit Kat was quite a blast. So I would highly recommend anyone who's visiting Berlin to try Kit Kat. Just for your experience, try Kit Kat. I'm promoting Kit Kat. The third culture shock I experienced in Berlin is just the obsession with paper, the obsession with faxing everything, and the obsession with using postal. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me for a country which is as developed as Germany, but still in that area specifically, they choose to stay stagnant and like stay in what was and not change to what is or maybe what could be. That was a bit of a culture shock because I'm like the country is modernized in every other way except the use of paper. They're still obsessed with using paper for everything, and the use of post office. Like, okay, it's efficient, which is good, at least you can post stuff for cheaper price and stuff like that, but I still did not expect that to like be a thing because I'm from a country which is not even as developed as Berlin, but we're far moved from like the post office and like from the obsession with using papers. We are like trying to adjust like more modern ways. So I was just shocked that a country which was as developed as Germany would be obsessed with like using papers and like post office. Weird. Another experience that really shocked me and it stood out to me was like how efficient Google Maps and public transportation is in Germany. Like that was quite a relief because I feel like I mastered public transportation quite quickly in Berlin because it's very efficient, it's very easy to fall through, like everything just goes everywhere. I don't know, it was very smooth, and I really love that. Like if you try to use Google Maps in my country, you're in for a treat. You are in for a treat because like there's a 30-40 percentage that is going to mislead you, but there is like a 70-80% that you could get the right directions based on where you're going, because we have a few places that have good directions. These are where like the locations are a bit more organized, and we have some parts of the town where are not very organized, and that is where Google Maps cannot save you. So the fact that I could use Google Map everywhere and it was accurate, and the fact that I could use public transportation almost everywhere and just master it that fast, that was very fascinating. So I love that about the public transportation. And on the same note, I think something else that shocked me so much about Berlin is the fact it's just like how rare the police or like any other guy would like come to check the tickets if they're valid or something. Because I think in Brussels my experience was different. Like in Belgium, almost every time I took a train, there was someone checking if you had tickets and stuff like that. But in Berlin, they barely checked. And I was wondering maybe if that has something to do with the idea that Germans in general, they're like very much obsessed with like following orders. So maybe even the people with authority, they know that Germans won't do that. So they like that they won't do that. They'll follow the law or anything. I don't know what's the reason, but like I barely had my tickets checked in Berlin, but in Belgium, every other 5 minutes my ticket was checked. Also, sometimes I even like moved around without a ticket in Berlin and it was still fine. And I didn't do this on purpose because sometimes I didn't find like the machine to buy the ticket and then the train was leaving and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just like go in. So I know for a fact I couldn't do that in Belgium. So it was just a shock. Another thing that I really loved about Germany, and I think this is most other European countries, they have this, but I like how the windows open up. Like you can open the window in multiple ways based on like how much air you want in. And I really love that because I feel like we don't have that much creativity in my country. Like our windows are just like one way. Like you don't have options. It's like we don't have the technology yet. So I love the flexibility with the windows and stuff like that. On the same design thing, I remember I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about how most of like the design in Germany is very much industrial kind of design, and she told me like Germans really prioritize functionality over like the looks of it or like the style of it. So they really design things based on how efficient or like functional the thing would be. Like you'd find like a lot of like weird sitting benches on the streets, but if you look at it, it's because just a pretty bench would sit like 3 4 5 people, but that weird shaped bench would sit like 8, or because like it has a lot of mud powder corners. I don't know if this makes sense, but yeah, she was just telling me that Germans prioritize functional and like efficiency more than the beautifulness of things, which is why most of the design is very different from like a lot of other countries. Another experience that really stood out for me, I think, is Potsdam. And for Potsdam specifically, I think I went into Potsdam with that perception that, oh my God, I'm gonna spend a lot of money to just like pay for museums and like see places and stuff like that. But I was really surprised by like how many places just had free entrance. Like, I don't know. I was like, what? So do you mean I just have to go see this beautiful place for free? What do you mean I'm just walking across the most beautiful garden I've seen for free? Like I'm visiting all castles for free. Like how do you mean this is free? So I think that shocked me very much about Potsdam because I expected to pay for a lot more things than the things that I actually end up paying for. So I was just surprised that a lot of things were very beautiful and they were just like free for the public. Shocker. And from an African point of view, I think something else that really stunned me is the fact that all over Berlin, like I've asked so many people and I've looked around, but all over Berlin, there is nothing that sort of like honors or like commemorates or acknowledges the Berlin conference. Like yeah, I've visited a lot of like memorial things in like Berlin and like they have their stories, yes, I acknowledge that, but I was just stunned by the fact that there is nothing that commemorates the Berlin conference, considering how impactful that conference had been. And that conference was held in Berlin, and how much that conference had affected Africa in a way. Like this is not to put blame on like anyone or anything, but I'm just saying like I feel like Berlin conference did a lot of damage for Africa. And it's crazy that for a country that is very much obsessed with history, for a country that is very much obsessed with like commemorating things, they have no commemoration or they have no acknowledgement of the Berlin conference. And I'm like, okay. So that was a big shocker for me. Maybe their history is very extensive that they have no room for that. But yeah, I was just shocked that they're not acknowledging that major part of history. And because from my point of view, I think Berlin conference has a major role to play, or like a lot of like the impacts that had been done to like Africa by like the colonizers and the colonization and everything, that history and stuff like that. So it was just shocker to see that the city where this conference was held and the city that played like a big role in facilitating this had no commemoration at all of this conference, which had major impacts to like Africa as a continent and like Africans in general. Bummer. Another experience that I really loved about Germany and Berlin in general, I think, is the age inclusivity. I mean, like, I feel like everywhere I go and like most other activities that I was doing, you could easily just find people of different ages doing the same activities. So that was very refreshing to see, because I think I come from a city which there's like some age segregation in a way. Like, old people are not expected to do certain stuff. It's like the more older you are, you're not expected to have fun. It's like a taboo or something. Like, it's not said, but you just see it by the way people treat like older people doing like fun stuff and stuff like that. So I think it was an eye opener and it was a breather to like just see that age inclusivity and just how it's all just like roaring out. And I feel like it's kind of like it's not supposed to be that way. Like, they're not supposed to be stigma around aging and stuff like that. But I think like for my culture in my country, there's a lot of stigma around aging, and there's a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of stigma for a lot of things in my country. So it was refreshing to see like the age inclusivity in Berlin. I was also shocked by the diversity that there is in Berlin. I feel like there is everyone from everywhere in Berlin. So that was also an eye opening, because I think I went in Berlin with the expectations of meeting more Germans than the rest of the nationalities, but I ended up meeting people from all other nationalities than Germans. So that was also nice to see that much diversity. And yeah, it was just so refreshing. Last but not least, what I love the most about Berlin is how much nature there is around. For such a major city that looks so beautiful, that is so metropolitan and stuff like that, to still have so much nature around it, it's very refreshing, and I love that so much. I love to hear from you guys if you've been to Berlin, or if you live in Berlin, like what are the few things that you really love about Berlin? Or if you visited, like what's the few things that shocked you in a way, or the things that you love? Because I can't wait to be back in Berlin. I think Berlin is one of the places that I'm really curious about going back, because yeah, I think I met very amazing people that have sort of like been so close to my heart, and I'm very much excited about the possibility of meeting them again and like getting to hang out and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm very much excited about my next trip to Berlin, because yeah, I'm going back sometime. I don't know when, but I'm going back. That's it for this video, guys. Until next time, adios.